There's a season in your life when posting, explaining, and staying visible actually holds you back. And most people never experience real growth because they're too busy performing progress instead of actually building it. In this video, I want to talk to you about why disappearing intentionally was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and how disappearing might be exactly what you need to finally change your life. So during COVID, something felt off. The world had slowed down. Protests were happening. Everything felt tense and uncertain. And for the first time in my life, I questioned whether what I was doing actually mattered. I remember realizing that I was busy but not fulfilled, moving but not meaningful. So I did something most people are terrified to do. I disappeared. I stopped posting. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped trying to be seen, and I quietly started building. So this is the first time I disappeared. When I stepped away from social media, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. I didn't post updates. I didn't tease anything. I didn't ask for validation. I just worked. During that time, I built a film business from the ground up. I worked with well-known artists, major brands, and people most would consider successful. And here's the most important part. Nobody knew it was me. I wasn't showing my face. I wasn't clout chasing. I wasn't branding myself. I was becoming valuable in silence. When nobody's watching, you're free to fail, experiment, and grow without judgment. So why does disappearing work? Most people struggle to change because they're constantly being observed. Friends watching, family watching, social media watching. That pressure keeps you trapped in who you used to be. But when you disappear, you remove comparison, expectations, opinions, pressure. You finally get space to think. And in that silence, clarity shows up. That's when I started thinking about my next move. And then came the second time I disappeared. I knew I wanted to live outside the country, but I didn't know how. So I disappeared again. I picked up a job at Amazon, 60 hours a week, no glamour, no announcements. But this time it wasn't a setback, it was a strategy. I wasn't a warehouse worker in my mind. I was someone funding an escape plan. I stacked money. I planned obsessively. I stayed invisible. And then one day I popped back out. I made one Instagram post. I decided to take YouTube seriously. Here's my first vlog. That was it. No explanation, no long story. And from that moment forward, everything changed. And this is when I learned the power of coming back. When you disappear and come back different, people pay attention. They don't ask, what are you doing? They ask, how did you do that? People started watching, then subscribing, then staying. Less than 2 years later, my channel passed 30,000 subscribers. Then I moved to Asia. Then I traveled country after country. Then I turned my life into content. And here's the key most people miss. I'm still riding the same rollout I started with. I never hit the brakes. So here's the law behind it and the reason this works. In the 48 laws of power, law 16 is called use absence to increase respect and honor. The idea is simple. Scarcity creates value. When you're always available, people take you for granted. When you control your visibility, demand increases. This applies to business, relationship, creativity, personal branding. Absence creates curiosity. Curiosity creates attention, and attention creates opportunity. The mistake is disappearing forever. The power is disappearing strategically. So how does this apply to you? Disappearing doesn't mean running away. It means choosing growth over validation. Maybe you disappear into the gym, your mental health, a business, a skill, your spiritual life. You don't owe anyone an explanation. And the best part, you'll find out exactly who cares and who is watching just for entertainment. You don't need to announce your comeback. Just make sure when you return, you're unrecognizable. That's the real flex. Not being seen, but being undeniable when you are. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe. This channel is about building a life that actually feels like freedom. And if you're in a season where you feel lost, behind, or underestimated, maybe disappearing is exactly what you need. Like, comment, subscribe.